Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Honda CB350 RS with us. So this bike gets a long stroke engine. So this bike is a direct competitor to the Royal Enfield 350, that is the classic and the bullet. So this bike uses the same recipe as the Royal Enfield and try to take down on that. So this bike is basically Honda's modern version of the classic 350. So the engine in this CB350 RS is a long stroke engine. I was never a fan of a long stroke engine, to be honest. I generally don't think that motorcycles need a long stroke engine. It was back then where a long stroke engine made sense. Nowadays shorter stroke, that is over square engines, usually is better for a motorcycle. It doesn't have to be that higher of a cc. For example, NS200 is a square engine which is 200cc but produces similar power, actually 1 horsepower more than this one. So this engine produces 21 horsepower and 30 Nm of torque. The torque is really good and it doesn't rev that high, so it revs to about 7000 rpm. That is where its limiter kicks in. But the power and torque figures is very early in its rpm. It produces max torque at like 3000 rpm and power at 6000 rpm, which is very early for a motorcycle. So it's able to track very easily. This is a very easy bike to drive. You could just put 5th gear and it will track ahead, and it's making nice thump. It also does some props and cackles. False neutral. The air I claimed is about 35 km per liter, which is quite respectable. This is a fuel injected 350cc engine. Of course, Honda makes pretty efficient engines. This is nothing short of it. This engine also has a great thump to it. So in terms of engine, it is a very easy engine to haul around. It will easily track ahead. It's a typical long stroke engine, but it is extremely refined. It is extremely refined for a long stroke engine. To be honest, it is even refined than some of the short stroke engines. So the suspension in this motorcycle is telescopic at the front. Rear gets a twin shock suspension, which is not that good. It is actually stiffer, which is not that compliant to ride, but it gets its twin shock mainly due to that fact that it has a double cradle chassis, which came due to its retro styling. This is trying to take down on the classic 350, right? So it gets all the classic stuff, which is not the latest technology, but this is what you get in this motorcycle. But front suspension is pretty good and it's very pliant. There is no fold in that, but rear is a bit stiffer for my liking. To compensate that, they have gone for a higher profile tire. I mean, like the rear is 17 inches and the front is 19 inches. So you can see like rear is a very small wheel with a very big tire profile. And the riding portion of the motorcycle is laid back, in my opinion. It's not that sporty for a RS motorcycle like this. It is not that aggressive. It's pretty okay. This motorcycle is an excellent cruiser. The 5th gear is pretty tall, so it tracks very low RPM at higher speeds like 70. It is doing comfortably, and even at 100, 120, it is doing quite comfortably. It is not struggling or nothing like that. They have geared it pretty high, so it is always staying at the mid-range of its RPM at the cruising speed, which makes it a great motorcycle to tour. And the stopping power of the motorcycle is good enough. There's nothing wrong with it. And this motorcycle also gets a traction control system, which I honestly think it doesn't have to have, but it has it. So this is how the motorcycle looks. It has a lot of chrome. It is still a lot of chrome for a RS motorcycle. Highness even gets more chrome than this one. So front is 320mm disc and rear is 240, which is pretty good. And this is how it looks in the rear. Let me know guys how it looks in the comment section. So as I said, there is a lot of exposed stuff, which is a typical nice, which is a very typical Japanese style. But things will last for sure. That is something Honda is always known for. And at front we get all the LED stuffs, and everything is pretty neat, but these mirrors are useless. This is of no use. And in the instrument cluster you get a very basic speedometer, and there's no tachometer in this motorcycle. They are trying to go with the retro theme, so it gets small TFT display here where it shows fuel meter, which is very tiny, and a gear position indicator is there, and odometer and all the basic stuffs you have. And you also have a Bluetooth connectivity system which can be connected to a headphone, but it will not show anything in this TFT display. It is only will give information to a headphone or something like that. So that's all you get. And tail tilt lights are placed here nicely. Now it is showing neutral. Yeah, that's it guys. A fan of a long stroke engine motorcycle, but this one feels very good to drive. Of course, this is not the most rational decision you take, but if you are looking for a long stroke engine in 2025, look nowhere else. This is a great motorcycle to have. Of course, this would not have the absolute retro feel of a classic 350, but this is a modern version of the long stroke engine that you could possibly get in today's times. Even the Royal Enfield is moving to a shorter stroke engines. So is this better than an RE? No, actually it is a completely different motorcycle. This is a very modern version of the same recipe that initially Royal Enfield owned it. Like 500 and 350 were very raw, which had a very long stroke engine, has a great thump and all those things. This bike offers the same feel but in a modern version, and it is also very refined and reliable as well, unlike a Royal Enfield. But if you just want outright performance or comfort, if you have any specific needs, this might not fill the needs. That is the thing. This will not be the fastest. This horn placement is not that great. My hand is going for the indicator all the time. So if you want the motorcycle with a great performance, this might not be the one. If you want a motorcycle with great comfort to drive, this might not be the one. But if you want a retro motorcycle which is good enough to ride and has all the feels of a retro motorcycle, then this might be the best. You could still buy a RE, but this is much more reliable and livable motorcycle, and it is a very likable motorcycle to have. The sound it makes is really good, and it also makes pops and bangs sometimes, especially when it's cold. Just listen to the sound, it's so soothing, and the motorcycle is extremely refined. This is what the thing. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye bye.